that was a knockdown, without a doubt. You can't spin it no other way. It's too clear. And I think the commission needs to do something about it because it can give me an incentive, anytime I'm not feeling good in a fight, take a knee.
The feeling is that it wasn't a knockdown. I mean, look, he wasn't hurt. There's no doubt about that. But if you take a knee in the fight and you touch down, whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown.
I'm not going to say honest because I don't know. If honesty had something to do with it. I don't know. But definitely we need better refs that assure themselves, know how to make a decision, know they're making the right decision.
Newly leaked footage has reportedly exposed how John Davis cheated against Lamont Roach. On March 1st, the Barclays Center in Brooklyn hosted a fight that had the boxing world buzzing as Davis defended his WBA lightweight title against Roach. A controversial moment in the 9th round became the center of heated debate. Davis suddenly took a knee after what appeared to be a harmless jab grazed his face. Under standard boxing rules, this should have been ruled a knockdown, triggering a full count. However, the referee allowed the fight to continue, keeping the scores razor-thin. The bout ultimately ended in a majority draw, leaving fans questioning the integrity of the decision.
Did Gervonta Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, it was a draw. He take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business.
In the days after the fight, controversy continues to swirl, not just over the referee's decision, but also over the fighter's actions in that crucial moment. Now, newly leaked footage is adding fuel to the fire, sparking an even more explosive allegation that Davis may have intentionally manipulated events in the ring to secure an unfair advantage.
Well, that's not a shot at Tank. I respect Tank and I like Tank a lot, but you can't do that.
They reversed the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
It just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right? To keep the integrity of the sport. So I feel like if you're gonna do it to me, you got to do it to everybody.
Newly surfaced footage, allegedly captured from an undisclosed source within the broadcast team, provide a fresh perspective on the controversial 9th round, revealing an angle previously unseen by the public. Observers have pointed out several peculiar aspects of Davis's behavior, fueling speculation over the legitimacy of his actions. The footage appears to show Davis momentarily pausing after the jab, almost as if the maneuver had been premeditated rather than a natural reaction to the impact. His body language and the precise timing of his knee drop have led some to suggest that the sequence was rehearsed. Adding to the intrigue, the clip briefly captures a member of Davis's corner moving in unusually close, as if anticipating a need to intervene. While it's common for corners to assist between rounds by wiping sweat or adjusting gear, the timing and proximity in this instance have raised eyebrows. Some analysts argue that Davis's reaction, a sudden collapse to one knee followed by a swift retreat toward his corner, mirrors tactics used to buy time or disrupt an opponent's rhythm. This would be a stark contrast to the instinctive responses typically seen when a fighter is genuinely hurt. These visual cues have led certain fans and pundits to question whether what initially seemed like an unfortunate mishap, perhaps a slip caused by sweat or grease in his eyes, was in reality a calculated move to stifle Roach's momentum. In response to the mounting allegations, Davis and his team have been quick to push back. In multiple social media statements and press interviews, Davis insisted that his actions were entirely within the rules, attributing his knee drop to a momentary lapse in vision caused by grease from his freshly done hair, an explanation that has been met with skepticism by many fans. His team has also argued that leaked footage, when taken out of context, can be misleading and that a few seconds of video fail to capture the complexity of the fight. Further adding to the controversy is referee Steve Willis's decision not to count the knee drop as a knockdown. While Davis's camp maintains that Willis made a fair judgment call under unusual circumstances, critics argue that the referee's inaction, combined with the seemingly deliberate nature of Davis's movements, paints a troubling picture. one that raises serious questions about the integrity of the moment and the fight itself.
Know how to make a decision, know they're making the right decision, you know, and emboldened to make that decision. I think that I don't know that he would have let Roach get away with that. He let Tank Davis get away with. Why? Tank Davis is a star. You know, I think he set a record for the most fans ever in Barclays Stadium. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I believe they hit a new attendance and maybe a gate record. They've done concerts there, they've done fights there, basketball games there.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was the record for the gate for a fight for sure. I think the Rolling Stones might be the only one that beat them at the Barclays, but either way, they did huge numbers.
The absence of an immediate official review, compounded by technical issues with the instant replay system during the fight, has only fueled suspicions. If the leaked footage ultimately proves to expose deliberate cheating, the fallout could be severe. Gervonta Davis, whose record has remained nearly unblemished until now, could face not only a damaged reputation, but also potential sanctions from boxing authorities. Discussions are already swirling about whether the WBA or the New York State Athletic Commission might reopen an investigation into the event of the fight. Beyond Davis's personal career, the controversy casts a harsh spotlight on the state of professional boxing, a sport where split-second decisions, ambiguous rulings, and the potential for misconduct frequently turn competition into controversy. Should regulators uncover evidence of intentional rule-breaking, it could ignite calls for stricter oversight and the implementation of more robust review systems to safeguard the sport's integrity.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the reality is can the state call for an immediate rematch? I don't believe they can, the commission. It's really up to the governing body. I mean, the commission can overturn a decision or rule on a decision, but can they order a rematch? That really has to come from the governing body, the WBA, to say, if you want to remain lightweight world champion. But everything I'm hearing is the rematch is going to happen anyway. Like, I think it's pretty much done.
Talk to us about the star power in this May 2nd card.
Yeah, I mean, you've got three of the hottest young fighters in terms of that, that social media presence.
This latest controversy has sparked a heated debate among fans and experts over the need for greater transparency in boxing. While leaked footage, potentially taken out of context, highlights flaws in the current review system, it also underscores the sport's ongoing struggle with accountability. As scrutiny intensifies, boxing commissions may be pressured to adopt new technologies and protocols to ensure that every controversial moment undergoes immediate and objective review. Some fans have already taken to social media, demanding that governing bodies release the full fight footage and provide a detailed explanation of the referee's decisions. While the leaked clip has certainly added fuel to an already raging fire, it's important to recognize that allegations alone do not constitute definitive proof. The images and angles captured in the footage raise serious questions, but they represent only a small piece of the larger picture from that night.
I've heard some people saying, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner. I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation for me. Like, there was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight. Like, Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight. And Shakur said to me, like, even the day before, I'm telling you, he's going to have big trouble tomorrow night. And I just feel like hopefully this could be the little something that gives Gervonta a little wake-up call to take him back to the mindset of maybe where he was.
Boxing remains a sport rich in nuance, where the line between strategic brilliance and outright rule-bending is often blurred. As the investigation unfolds and more context emerges, both fans and officials will be seeking clear evidence to either substantiate or refute the claims against Gervonta Davis. For now, the debate rages on, some accusing Davis of exploiting a loophole in the rules, while his camp staunchly denies any wrongdoing. Regardless of the outcome, the incident has left an undeniable mark on his career, serving as a stark reminder that in the high-stakes world of boxing, even a momentary decision can carry monumental consequences. The razor-thin margins on the judges' scorecards, 114 to 114, 115 to 113, told the story of a fiercely contested battle. as Davis successfully defended his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach. However, one pivotal moment overshadowed the fight itself, igniting heated debate throughout the boxing world. The controversial non-knockdown call just seconds into the 9th round. A.S. Roach pressed forward aggressively. He landed a swift 1-2 combination followed by a sharp right hook. Davis, momentarily pausing, turned to referee Steve Willis before voluntarily taking a knee. Instead of the standard knockdown ruling, Davis abruptly bolted toward the ropes, seemingly in search of a towel to wipe his face. The sequence left fans and analysts alike questioning what had truly transpired in that critical moment.
The star, he brings people, he's got a big fan base, he brings good pay-per-view numbers. I don't know what the numbers are in this, but you know, he's one of the guys that bring good pay-per-view numbers. I think all of that, he brings that with him. When a referee allows him to take a knee, which is not a rule in boxing, and get away with it, and not make it a 10-8 round. That should have been a 10-8 round. He got hit with a jab just before that. I'm not trying to go after Tank Davis. People already know. Some people say I defend him too much, that I'm saying how great he is. And he is. He's a tremendous, complete fighter, puncher, fighter, inside, outside. He's patient. He's responsible defensively.
That moment alone warranted a call. In boxing, once a round begins, there are no timeouts, no opportunities to pause and regroup. Yet, Davis not only took a knee, but also triggered an unofficial timeout. Two clear violations that should have resulted in either a disqualification or a knockdown ruling. And if you're wondering whether referee Steve Willis counted, he did. But as he reached 3, instead of ending the fight, he inexplicably allowed Davis to rise and continue as if nothing had happened. The fight concluded with one judge scoring in favor of Davis, while the other 2 ruled it a draw. Though Davis brushed off the controversy, explaining, "When you sweat, the grease was coming into my face, and hopefully we can run it back in New York," many remain unconvinced. As I stated last Sunday in Ring Magazine, with over 30 years of experience in the sport, taking a knee without a punch should be ruled a knockdown. The referee's failure to make that call altered the outcome of the fight, robbing Lamont Roach Jr. of a potential unanimous decision victory. That exact frustration has weighed on the WBA super featherweight champion. Despite sending his opponent to the canvas, the ruling did not go in his favor. At 29 years old, Roach could not accept the decision as fair. Determined to fight for justice, he and his team have enlisted an attorney to formally request an investigation by the New York State Athletic Commission. Roach has openly criticized Davis and the controversial knee incident. "I'm happy with my performance, for sure. I'm just a little frustrated with the scorecards. I thought I should have won, and I thought I did enough to bank the rounds," he told Boxing News. "Even without the knee, that should have been a knockdown, so I don't see any excuse for me not winning. But that's just how the cookie crumbles." That he further detailed what transpired during the exchange, explaining, "He threw a left hand, clipped me a little bit, I rolled it, came back with a right hand, landed a jab, and he took a knee. Even if he had to wipe his eye, whatever the case may be, that's a rookie mistake. Don't do that. That's a knockdown." The controversy has now spilled onto social media, sparking a heated exchange between Roach and Davis. Amid the online frenzy, Davis took to X, formerly Twitter, to address the contentious draw. "They took the fight from me and made it a draw because I did that knee," he wrote in a now-deleted tweet. He added, "But I landed the most punches in the fight. He didn't even hit me with a punch when I took the knee." Davis, known for his low punch volume, ranks among the least active fighters in terms of punches thrown per round, second only to Gilles Jean. Nonetheless, he defended himself, saying, "I get it though. I shouldn't have done that. But that hair grease was burning my eyes." His statement was quickly fact-checked as a community note on his post corrected his claim, pointing out that CompuBox statistics actually showed Davis landing fewer punches round by round. Roach responded with amusement, commenting, "The community note is crazy. That's smooth." Despite his efforts to downplay the incident, Davis cannot seem to escape the controversy, and judging by the ongoing buzz, it's far from fading into the background. Just a year ago, Davis had dominated Frank Martin, sitting atop the division with an aura of invincibility. Unchallenged, unwavering, and certain that no one could rival his speed, skill, or knockout power. But that certainty shattered when Lamont Roach Jr. stepped into the ring earlier this month. Entering as a heavy underdog, Roach was widely written off before the first punch was thrown. Yet, from the opening bell, he defied expectations, pushing Davis harder than anyone before. Round after round, he stood toe-to-toe with the unbeaten Baltimore fighter, landing punishing shots and shaking him on multiple occasions. When the final bell rang, the judges ruled it a majority draw, but for many, Roach had done more than enough to win.
Defensively, he's got fast hands, he puts punches together, he goes to the body and head. He's all of that. He can counterpunch, he can set traps, all of that. But he was wrong here. He got away with it. But the sport let him get away with it. There's nothing wrong with the fighters.
The controversy surrounding the 9th-round knee incident in the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr. fight has only intensified as the New York State Athletic Commission, NYSAC, recently upheld the majority draw decision. The commission acknowledged that referee Steve Willis made an error by failing to call a knockdown when Davis dropped to one knee after a clean shot from Roach. However, it ultimately ruled that overturning the result was unwarranted, given that the fight continued for 3 more rounds after the missed call. The ruling has sparked outrage from Roach's camp, who believe the oversight cost their fighter a clear 10-8 round and, ultimately, the victory. Roach's attorney, Gregory M. Smith, expressed disappointment but remained hopeful, stating, "Lamont is confident that a rematch will end with a victory, but until then, he is the people's champion at 135 pounds. Davis, on the other hand, defended his actions, claiming his knee wasn't due to a punch, but rather an issue with grease from a hair treatment burning his eyes. In a now-deleted tweet, he wrote, "They took the fight from me and made it a draw because I did that knee, but I landed the most punches." However, CompuBox statistics contradicted this claim, showing that Roach outlanded Davis in key rounds. Adding to the frustration, Roach's team also criticized Willis for allowing Davis to turn his back mid-fight, an action that could warrant disqualification, and for letting him receive attention from his trainer while the fight was ongoing. "We had to protest," said ProBox TV founder Gary Jonas, whose company backs Roach. "All we can do now is focus on getting Lamont back in the ring with Davis and settling this the right way." Despite being a 16-1 underdog, Roach exceeded expectations, repeatedly landing powerful shots that visibly affected Davis. Yet, the scorecards favored Davis in the controversial 9th round, allowing him to escape with a draw and retain his WBA lightweight title. Public outcry over the decision has fueled speculation about a rematch, with Roach eager to prove himself once more. The NYSAC's review process has also come under fire, as it was revealed that the commission did not receive video footage of the knockdown in time for a possible reversal. Jonas reflected on the bittersweet ruling, saying, "This was a major leap in Roach's career. While it wasn't the result we wanted, the world knows who won." Promoter Eddie Hearn had predicted that the commission would not overturn the outcome, citing the impracticality of revising a result after multiple rounds had passed. As it stands, Roach and his team are left to push for a rematch, hoping to rectify what they, and much of the boxing world, view as an injustice.
This sport that there's a lot wrong with. And there is. And you see it. And we shouldn't keep seeing it. It's got to be stopped. A referee, that is not in the rule book. You get hit with a jab. I know there was a second or two in between. Sometimes you see a delay, knockdown, whatever. The punch didn't hurt him. I understand that. But he got hit a jab, and then a second, 2 seconds later, he takes a knee. Guess what? I'm sorry. That constitutes a knockdown. Your knee goes down after a punch somewhere around there. That's a knockdown.
A few days ago, Unbiased Box 2 took to X to share an eye-catching interview featuring WBA super featherweight champion Lamont Roach Jr. on Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson. Naturally, the conversation turned to Roach's controversial draw against Gervonta Davis, with a key question arising. Did the referee's missed call in the 9th round impact Roach's approach in the later rounds? Without hesitation, Roach dismissed the idea. "I'm going to say no." He explained that Davis dropping to one knee wasn't a moment of weakness, but rather a sign that his game plan was working. The simple fact that he took a knee was a boost because what we were doing was working, Roach said, confident that the pressure he was applying was making an impact. Having previously faced Davis twice in the amateurs, Roach understood his opponent well. After landing a crisp three-punch combination, one of which connected cleanly with Davis's eye, Roach saw the momentum shift. As Davis dropped to a knee, Roach immediately turned to referee Steve Willis, demanding, "Keep counting. That's a knockdown." Willis initially began a count, but then inexplicably stopped, opting not to rule a knockdown, a decision that would define the fight's outcome. If y'all didn't notice, he started to count, then stopped. Asterisk, Roach stated, clearly frustrated. Adding to the controversy, Davis's trainer, Calvin Ford, stepped onto the ring mid-round to wipe his fighter's face, an undeniable rule violation that could have resulted in a disqualification. For a seasoned referee like Willis, such oversights in a championship fight left many stunned. Roach isn't alone in his frustration. Ryan Garcia and Terrence Crawford also voiced their disappointment. Garcia tweeted, "What I'm wondering is if the commission only makes changes when you complain like Haney, or if they actually care about the integrity of the sport." Meanwhile, Crawford posted, "Roach won, and that should have been called a knockdown. Let's see what happens." He later followed up, questioning how a knee wasn't counted as a knockdown, suggesting the rules had suddenly changed. That on the other hand, Teofimo Lopez defended Davis. In an interview at the Fatal Fury press conference, Lopez stated, "I still think Tank beat Shakur." While he acknowledged the controversy, he downplayed its significance, saying, "It doesn't really matter, guys. It's boxing business." He did, however, believe the fight was a wake-up call for Davis, claiming the undefeated star had become complacent. AS discussions about the controversial draw continue. The demand for a rematch remains strong. Whether Davis and Roach meet again in the ring is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the debate over this fight isn't dying down anytime soon.